Good morning. It is Tuesday, Lamed Shvat, the first day of Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon Tov Ayin Tes. The Shiur is dedicated to the Refuah Shlema Kreva of Yirmiyahu ben Rus. We are in the Mamar of Yud Beis Tammuz Tov Yud Gimel in Teres Menachem Sefer Mamar Tov Yud Gimel, and we are on page Kuf Tzadik Hey. The second paragraph on the page, the paragraph begins with the word V'yuvan. We're in the middle here of learning about Havayahu Elokim Kul Echad, that Hashem's name Yud Kei Vav Kei, his force represented in the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, and his force represented in the name Elokim are all one. The Rebbe asked, even based on all the explanations we've given above, what we've concluded is that they complement each other, that they need each other, but not that they're actually one. Because at the end of the day, this is Bli Gvul. Havaya represents a force, an unlimited, revealing force, and Elokim represents a limiting, regulating force. So, but the true meaning of Havayahu Elokim is that they're all one. How is it that they're all one? The Rebbe also asked, why does the pasuk add ein oid, that there is nothing else? If you say Havayahu Elokim, that everything, the forces of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the force of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the force of Elokim are one in all the levels that the Rebbe explained. Bashamayim mal al aretz v'al aretz metachas. Why do you need to emphasize that ein oid, there is none else? It would seem that it's self-implied. Says the Rebbe in paragraph 2 on page Kuf Tzadik Hey. The Yuvan, this will be understood from what we see in the person below. In fact, before we go on in the last section, last couple of lines of the previous paragraph, the Rebbe said that Ein Oid, there is nothing else, is a reference to Atzmos, the very essence of Hashem, and it's when we focus on the very essence of Hashem, beside whom there is nothing else, there is indeed nothing else, we will understand also the idea of Havayahu Elokim, how Havaya and Elokim are one. This will be understood from what we see in a person down here below. In a person below, there are also two lines, two modes of expressing himself in his emotions. There is chesed and there is din, right? There is kindness and there is strictness. Obviously, in the human experience, they are opposites. They're different. However, even in the human experience, the difference between these two modes is merely in the revealed faculties of the person. Once you have revealed chesed, once you have revealed din, meaning to say discernible chesed, discernible din, then there are differences. They're different and even opposites. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the revealed faculties, even in the concealed faculties. This is not the case in the power as it is in potential, as it is rooted in the essence. In other words, there are three stages or three levels at which we can discuss the different faculties of the soul of the person. There's the actual revealed one, when we function. There is, as this functioning, revealed faculty is in its source. It hasn't yet become manifest, but it is already a source for this particular faculty. But then there is, as it is in the very essence of the soul, where it is not even identifiable as a separate koyach, as a separate faculty. Try to give a mashal, not necessarily exactly the same mashal, but something, parable that make it easier to understand. Take the earth. The earth, this koyach hatzemeach, possesses koyach hatzemeach, the power to cause things to grow, the power to produce. What? Anything. It could be fruit trees. It could be non-fruit-bearing trees that don't bear fruit. It could be wheat, barley. It could be weeds. Right? They all come from the earth. So in potential, everything is there. You cannot say that it's a source for a tree that will bear apples. It's okay. Then you have the particular tree. So you have the root of the tree, and you have the tree itself. Right? Al derech zeh, it's not exactly the same thing, but similarly, when we talk about the soul, the essence of the soul has potential for all sorts of things. Chesed, gvura, and so on and so forth. Then there is, in the descent, as it emanates, in other words, from the essence of the soul, into its revelations, you have then the different keches hanefesh, the faculties of the soul, as they are in their root. But this is a sheirish, a root for chesed, and this would be a sheirish, a root for gvura, and so on and so forth. Then you have the actual koyach itself, the actual revealed faculty itself, discernible, identifiable, functional, chesed, and gvura, and so on and so forth. So in what state do the koyches hanefesh, the faculties of the soul, chesed, gvura, and so on and so forth, how do they exist as they are in the very essence of the soul? You must say that they are in the very essence of the soul. Otherwise they wouldn't come forth. Like the Alter Rebbe says in Sharichut V'Emunah, concerning the ray of the sun, you can't say that the ray starts outside the sun. Where does it come from? It must be that it's there inside the sun, but it's obviously so subtle, so insignificant, so indiscernible as to be completely nullified. Similarly, when we talk about the koyches hanefesh, the faculties of the soul, as they are b'koyach hayecheles, in a state of potential, as they are rooted within the very essence of the soul, chesed and gvura are one. Why? Because we're talking about the soul here having potential for various things, for chesed, for gvura, and so on and so forth. So at that level, chesed and gvura are totally unidentifiable. Chesed and gvura are totally nullified within the very essence of the soul, and therefore they don't oppose each other. They're indeed as one. Because from the perspective of the soul, there's potential for this, potential for that. They're not opposites. They're in their state of potential. Clear? That's what the Rebbe says. So when we talk about the revealed faculties, or even the concealed faculties, but as it is already a specific faculty, over there, chesed is one kav, in one line, and gvura is in another line. This is not the case when it is in the state of potential, as it is rooted in the very essence. When we say he has the potential, he has the ability or the potential to bestow, to reveal, to bestow flow, to reveal himself, or he could constrict himself, not to bestow. They're not two lines. It's one line. It's potential. Potential for what? For everything. For giving and for not giving. So it's one line. When you say he has the ability to give, to bestow flow on its own, that's not potential. When you say it's a root for giving, it's a root for bestowing flow, that's a root. It's already a root for that particular thing. It's not potential. When you say yechelis, potential, it means it's totally beyond hashpah, totally beyond bestowing flow. It's even beyond what? Being a root for bestowing flow. Visham, at that level, the potential to bestow flow or to constrict and to limit and not to bestow anything at all, they're all one and the same. What's the reason? Because when we talk potential, when we speak at the level of potential, we're talking about as things are in the very essence of the soul. At that level, it is not possible to differentiate between the concept of giving, bestowing, and the concept of constricting, withholding. We cannot differentiate between limitlessness and limit. Because there they are both as one. They're both one. Because at that level there is no other existence, nothing else exists besides the very essence of the soul. You know, there's a very famous expression that's quoted many times in Chassidus, I believe in the Vidaita Moskva, that this is based on this Mamar. In the beginning over there he quotes it also. The Avodas HaKodesh says, as Avodas HaKodesh was a Makubal, he has a very famous phrase, Kishem sheyesh lekoyach bebilti bal gvul, kach yesh lekoyach begvul. She'im ata emes sheyesh lekoyach bebilti bal gvul, ve'en lekoyach begvul, ata mechasar shlemusay. Just like Hashem has koyach in the limitless, so too he has koyach in the limitlessness, in the limited. Because if you say that he has only the come inside. Because if you say, somebody call him in. You just walk downstairs. Yeah.
You have to come in.
Huh?
Just to look through you. You're in.
Because if you say he only has the ability koyach in bligvul, but not in the gvul, he only has koyach in the limitless, but not in the limited, you are causing his shleimus, you're diminishing his wholesomeness. What does that mean? What does that phrase mean? He's talking about at the level of Yechelis, koyach. Right? It means over here that it's defined as meaning that at that level, it's gvul. How do you describe Hashem? He's limitless. What does limitless mean? If you say that he's limitless to the exclusion of limit, then he's limited. He must be limitless. True limitlessness means that he's not restricted by limitlessness or by limit. He's beyond both. So in what state does limitlessness and limit exist there? In a state of potential. He's completely beyond it. He has the potential for both. So in what state are they there? They're not contradictory. They're one and the same. They coexist as one and the same, or even in what state? In a state of potential. Right? So when we talk at the level of Yechelis, it's not a description of the koyach, of the actual faculty. He has potential for everything. For what? Havaya, Elikim, Gilui, Helem, Bligvul, Gvul, whatever it is. And whatever else we can't even think of. Right? So in what state does Bligvul and Gvul exist there? What state does Gilui and Helem, revelation and concealment exist there? Between each other, what's the relationship between the two? They're there as one. Just like he is one, then whatever exists there is also as one. That's what he says. When you say there is nothing else, we're talking about the level of Atzmos, the very essence of Hashem. Shemilvad ha'atzmos ein shum davar, besides the very essence of Hashem, there is nothing at all. Ubebchinas ha'atzmos, and at the level of Atzmos, the very essence of Hashem, hine beiza inyanim d'havaya elikim, the two concepts of Havaya and Elikim, revelation and constriction, lo yizu bilvad. Not only do they need each other, as we explained in the lower levels of Hashemayim, Mimal, that they're not working at cross purposes. They need each other. At that level, it's even beyond needing each other. And it's even more so. They're actually one and the same. It's because of that. Excuse me. It's because of that when they are drawn down in the levels of the heavens above, the earth and the earth below, Atzilus beyond Atzilus, Bia and Klippus, when they come down here below, it's in a manner that Havaya is a Likim, as we explained earlier, that they need each other and they don't work at cross purposes to each other and they complement each other. But where does it all start from? It starts from the very essence of Hashem, where Havaya and Elikim, these two forces don't exist as two distinct forces, not even roots for distinct forces, but in the state of potential, and at that level, they are really and truly one and the same. And that manifests itself when it comes down into the lower levels, when they are already discernible forces, that they don't contradict each other, they complement each other, they need each other, and they coexist with each other. In the next section, the Rebbe is going to explain how we understand this and the relevance of this in man's service of Hashem. Have a wonderful Chodesh. Next year, please God, a message on Thursday morning.